See glimpses of their record signing and Fabio Silva just towards the end there. It's not great sample size in terms of his Premier League performances today. But what's your take on what he's done? And obviously you probably watched him a little bit against Stoke as well, Matt.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him. He needs to come in. He's a young player. They've paid a hell of a lot of money for him. Hopefully he's not going to be worried about the price tag. He's going to be settling down to improve as a player. I think Nuno, that's one thing that he's incredible at, is when he signs players, he never signs the finished article. He signs a player and they always improve under him. You can look at Traore, you can look at Neto, all of these players that he signed that they have ability, but they've all improved as players. And Silva will be one of them that he'll be looking to Nuno and his staff to work hard on the training pitch and to really make this move a massive success for himself. And each time he comes on the pitch, he's going to be looking to establish himself into the starting 11. But at the moment, it's finding a place for him and where does he play and what players does he move and the formation. It's one of them that Nuno's going to have a little bit of a headache trying to fit him in.
Is that the kind of players that Nuno is best working with, the kind that he can develop, Matt?
Definitely. That is exactly what he's so good at. As I mentioned, he just improves players. As soon as you get him in, they're on the training ground, they work hard. I think I know players that are still there that they work so hard on positioning, they work hard on attacking, they work on in defensive shape. They all know their roles and responsibilities that they have on the pitch, and that's what's going to take him a little bit of time to settle into exactly what he needs to do, his role in the team and where he's going to fit in, because they can change their shape. Whether they're playing 5 at the back or they go to a 4 and then they can do the 5 at the back and they still play with their wide players, but they have different midfielders. It's going to be interesting to see how they go about it, especially with trying to get Traore in the game a lot more, and if they get Semedo in as well at right back, it really is going to be able to make a lot of changes, because they've got a very, very good squad now of players that will improve from last season. It's just at the moment they've had 2 players that were starters in Jota and Doherty that have left, and everyone's seeing the gaps that they need to fill.
But the thing with the price tag is, isn't it a bit risky for 35 million to spend on a kid who's only had 12 senior appearances before moving to Wolves? I mean, we wouldn't want another case of Postigo at Spurs, would we, Matt?
I mean, it's very difficult when no one asked for this price tag. I remember when I moved and it was a club record fee, and you never asked to be the club record signing, because it comes with a lot of pressure. But they obviously have seen a lot of potential in these players, and their recruitment is the same as Man City, as Paul said. Their recruitment, Wolves, over the last few years has been sensational. The players that they have brought in, Neves, Moutinho, what a fantastic buy he was. Very cheap in today's market. You've got Jimenez, Jota, when they brought him in, Traore. You look at all of these players that they've brought in, their recruitment has been fantastic, and they will have the players, as Man City will, of their targets and the way that they want to be bringing in these players, and all of them will improve the squad. And as I said, Nuno, what we'll say is, in Nuno we trust, and I'm sure they all will still be doing that.
What's your perspective then, Paul, being someone who's been on the other side, on the management side, in terms of signing young players? What are the risks that comes with it?
Not just young players, as a manager, it's a risk signing any player, especially if you're spending a lot of money for them. But I completely agree with what Matt's just said there, especially about Nuno's recruitment policy and the way Wolves have done things. And it reminds me very similar. Then, I've said this before, not just because Wolves are playing Manchester City tonight. Wolves' recruitment's very similar to Manchester City's, as in that they want to sign younger players. They might have to pay a little bit over the odds, but they also want to work with them as well. Maybe not all signing the finished article. They see beyond that sometimes. They don't just sign players for the here and now, for 1 season or for 6 months or for 2 seasons. They're signing players for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And in Nuno, I'll make the comparison alongside Pep Guardiola that they love improving players. I'll look at Pep with Manchester City, even players like Kevin De Bruyne, Sergio Aguero, David Silva. they all took their game to a different level when they came in, and then the likes of Leroy Sané, Bernardo Silva, we're seeing it with Phil Foden, although he's came through the system. Younger Gabriel Jesus, younger Ederson, younger players that they're signing that they're making better all the time, and that's what Nuno's done. And since Nuno's went into Wolves, whether he's recruited players or he's inherited players that are already been there, he's improved every single one of them by his coaching, and that's what they have to do. And signing young players for 35 million is always a risk, but I've no doubt that the way Wolves do things and the way Nuno does things as well, that they'll end up becoming a top player. And I've no doubt that they've not signed them for the here and now, they've signed them for the long term, as they have with a lot of their players. And it's great to see that as well, because there's a plan in place, especially at a time where people are talking about clubs spending a lot of money to get instant success. You know, Wolves aren't doing that, Man City aren't doing that, Liverpool haven't done that. You know, they're looking way beyond that. And Wolves at a different level from Manchester City, of course, because it's the process they go through, but they're progressing the way they want to.
I was just looking over the Fabio Silva deal, but perhaps, Matt, you probably know a little bit more insight to this than me. He's not represented by Jorge Mendes, to my understanding, but Jorge Mendes does have a part in the deal, as he has had over a lot of the deals over at Wolves. What is his actual official relationship or position with the club, Matt?
It's a very good question. I wouldn't say that he has got a lot of influence in the transfers that Wolves have been doing in recent times. Obviously, because he's got a lot of the players that they're bringing in, because he's a very established agent, and all of the young players that Wolves are bringing in seem to be influenced by Mendes, but I don't think it's every single player. I don't think they have to go through me. I don't think it's anything like that. I just think that the players that he's got are ones that are very much on Wolves' radar, and at the moment he seems to be bringing in a lot of the players that Wolves want.